Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome back to Resurwreck Autos HQ. Today guys, it's Monday morning and we're going to get cracking with Dave's Ford Fiesta Vignale. Do as much as we can today and then probably finish it off tomorrow. But before we get into it, you must have seen the thumbnail. So yeah, what's happened? Right, well, there was a fire at Rochford, Copart, and it happened on Saturday night about 9 o'clock, and about 10 fire engines had to attend at Copart Rochford because yeah, it looks like it could be arson. Someone has caused a fire in their yard and it's destroyed about 200 cars in their yard. I think the fire service was saying that they had about 2,000 cars in there at that time, so only 200 got destroyed. But on the old interwebs, there's rumours. It's not absolute, you know. There's an investigation going on, so this is just rumours. But what they're saying is that someone flew a drone into the yard and then dropped a petrol bomb on top of the cars where they're stored. There's that rumour, and then obviously there's the rumour that it could have just happened. It's an accident. They are dealing with a lot of electrical cars now, so it could be the fact that an electrical car, you know, caused a spark. Maybe, I don't know. Until the investigation comes out, until we, you know, we find out a bit more information, it's just rumours. It's just, you know, people suggesting things and stuff like that. But who knows? But I'll put some pictures in this video now so you can watch, and then when you come back, yeah, I'll carry on. So yeah, have a look at these pictures. So there you go, guys. Yeah, those pictures are quite bad, didn't they? And like I said to you, this happened Saturday just gone at the weekend, about 9 o'clock. And I still am, I've got to be honest, was looking at about 5 or 6 cars at the Rochford yard today. They haven't dropped the listings. The cars are still there for auction. You don't know, you know, it could be cars that have been sitting there for a while. It could be cars that are customers' cars. It could be, you just don't know, you know, whose they are. So I'm going to continue with what I'm doing. I'm going to continue in looking at the cars that I was looking at and bidding on them today, and then just see what happens. Because if you win them and then they come back and say, actually, no, that was one that was involved in the fire, they won't, you know, you won't be charged for it. So, but you know, you never know what a Copart. Hopefully, Copart will just go in there today, drop all the cars that they know, get rid of the listings, and that'll be the end of it. We won't have to go through any hassle when it comes to buying them and getting your money back if the cars was one of them. So yeah, potentially we could be winning yeah, some new cars and new projects today, but I'll let you know later if that happens. But for now, we need to crack on with this Ford Fiesta, Dave's Vignale. Have a good push on. We got the gearbox on in place. That's all done. Couple of bolts. I've just got to put all the rest of the bell housing bolts on, put all the bits and pieces on, get it all connected. And once I've got to a certain point on this end, I can then turn my attention to the timing belt and that end. But yeah, let's you know, let's keep going. I'll set you up. Let's do this. Right, I just want to quickly cut in, guys, just explain what I'm doing, you know, because, you know, it's nice just to, even though time lapses are great and it just shows exactly, you know, how much time and effort and everything else that goes into it, but every now and then I just need to cut in and explain a few bits and pieces. So, I've got a couple, most of the bolts on the gear, on the actual bellows in there, that's all done, not all of them, but a couple, most of them are done. I've done the top mount as well, the gearbox mount, that's all in place. I've done the bottom one as well, the gearbox mount at the back, that's all in place. So it's nice and solid, ain't going nowhere. And I've just started to sort of put things back on, like this earth strap here. I've bolted that back up. I haven't done anything with the wiring yet, this wire here, because there's 2 bolts that have got to go there, and I don't want to mess around with that in a minute, get in my way. What else? So yeah, so I thought I'd move across and start getting the actual timing belt and the water pump and that sort of side of it already, really. So it's a case of getting it timed, top and bottom, and we do that by using these pins here. So that pin there goes in there, and it's locked into the back of the down there. You can see it goes into this. So that's the top is now timed and pinned. The bottom has got the same sort of pin that goes there, and the hole goes into it. So that's timed and pinned now as well. The other thing as well, I have marked it just there with a little bit of Tipex. You can see it just there. So that's, I know the marking's there for the top. I'm not going to undo that bolt there for that top cam pulley. I'm not undoing that, so that can stay like that anyway. I'm not going to touch that. It's pinned here as well. And the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to lock the bottom part of it, which will be on the flywheel. I'm locking the flywheel up with this. So that goes, bolts to the bell housing, goes through, and then that bit there goes through there, and it locks. You can see that there's like a little groove piece there. That there goes onto one of the teeth on the actual flywheel. So so it's all locked up, it's all nice and tight, and then I can start taking it apart and getting rid of all these covers in here, getting down to there, so we can actually see the timing, get to the timing belt itself, and the water pump. The water pump is in there as well, so we need to get in there and get that done. But I don't want to do that yet. I've now got to put the actual engine mount back in place, do it back up, so I can then raise the car right up, get underneath, and get to where the actual starter motor is at the back to lock up the flywheel. It's a little bit long-winded, but it's definitely worth it. Like, because I could, even though that's pinned there, it's got a pin at the top, it's got a pin at the bottom, and I've marked it. I can then undo that bolt right now. But just in case the actual bottom part moves, like I said, it is pinned, but just in case it moves, it's well worth spending the time and putting a locking tool on where the starter motor is. Every time I do this, apart from the only time I don't do this is when I'm doing a Fiat 500 or a KA, the little 1.2 engines. They don't really sort of need that top end or sort of starter motor area locked. They're pretty good, but these ones, the Fords, the 1.2 Fiestas, all those 1.6s, all those kind of cars, it's best practice really to lock up that where the starter motor goes. So yeah, engine mount back on, lift the car up, bolt it back up where the starter motor is, drop it back down, engine mount back off, and then we can start stripping it and pull that lower with the gun, impact gun, remove that bolt there. So yeah, let's just want to explain that, guys. Let's crack on. Let's do this. Right, okay guys, another cut in just to show you what I've been going on and what I'm doing. So as you can see, nice new water pump down there, and all done up tight. So that's all sorted. Got a new idler pulley this side and a new tensioner this side on the belt. And obviously the new belt is on as well. A bit fiddly compared to some of them that I've done. Is because there's a lot going on. There's a lot, it has to go around, you know, quite a few of the tensioners, and that I believe is for the high pressure fuel pump, maybe, or is it on the other side? I'm not sure, but not sure what that's for there. Yeah, everything's not moved. It's all nice and tight. The belt is nice and tight on this side, and then we've got a little bit of slack on this side. For obviously the tensioner to take up the slack. I've got a pin still in the tensioner there. You can see it, the actual pin just on the side there. So I'm going to remove that pin, pull that out, and then it's going to just put a little bit of tension, and we've still got to adjust it a little bit with an Allen key that goes in this hole here. So look, I'll show you now. I'm going to pull the pin because we're all lined up, and then we're going to put an Allen key there, and then we're going to turn it, and on the actual tensioner there's an arrow. Can you see that arrow? It's just there, you can just see it, the little arrow, and that's the way it's got to be turned. So you've got to put that Allen key in and then turn it the direction it's saying, which is like that. It's got to go in that direction, and when you got it tight, that should line up on this side, should line up, and then you hold it on tension, and then you do up the bolt in the middle there. So yeah, that's how you do it. So definitely getting there. Definitely getting there now. It's just a case of tensioning that up, making sure everything lines up, pull the pins out, turn the engine over a few times, just make sure nothing's moved, and then I'm going to line everything back up and check to make sure, obviously, that everything is, you know, hasn't moved. But I already know that it hasn't moved. I've checked. I've marked it here as well. I've marked it at the bottom. I've checked the actual the flywheel as well. I've marked it on the flywheel. I've just put loads of markings everywhere just to double check. Even though I've put pins in, like, I'm really going overboard here. But you know, it's worth just going a little bit mad. And then you shouldn't really have any problems. So yeah, there we go. Right, let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. I'll set you up. Let's do this. Right, okay, so guys, I've done absolute loads on this now, and as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit better now. So it's all been put back together. Now I can move the car up and down. We've got the engine mount back in place, all the covers back on, cam cover gasket, cam cover is on with a gasket, and all I'm doing is just sort of checking to make sure that I'm not sort of doing things in order, basically. Seeing what bolts I've got left over, seeing what needs to go back on, and at what order. So yeah, but we are definitely getting there. Definitely getting there. So hopefully tomorrow, I can't see any reason now why we can't get this completely done tomorrow. Get it all finished for Dave, and then obviously Dave's coming back next week, so there's plenty of time for him to come and collect the car later on. I'll just do my checks. Still got to do an oil flush, an oil change, oil filter change as well down there. Got to change that, air filter as well. So we've still got to do a few bits and pieces, but it's definitely getting there. But now it's obviously now a procedure. Now I've got to remove the flywheel locking tool on the back, remove that, then the starter motor can go back in place, and then I can put all this back in place. I can't do none of this until the starter motor goes in, because there's a bolt that goes right underneath there, and if you put all this back in place, especially all these cables and stuff, you put that all back in place, you're not going to get to it. So I need to do that first. That'll be on tomorrow's first job. We'll get on with that, because I can like I say, I can take the car up and down now, so we've got plenty of space. But really happy with the progress. All the timing belt's been done, the water pump, it's all been put back together. So yeah, fingers crossed, we get no issues with it. Might get a little bit of issue because of the fuel filter was changed. So to try and sort of, kick it over and turn it for the first time, it might struggle a little bit, but I'm expecting that little bit of a struggle, I've got to be honest, because being a diesel. But we'll find out in tomorrow's video, guys. What else? So just quickly about the cars that I was looking at Copart today. I actually managed to win 3 cars today, but they only let me have 1 so far. There was another one, but they said no, not aiming for that, and they've relisted it for next week, so that's out of question. So there's 1 more possibly that they might let me have. I very much doubt it. If they let me have it, then fantastic, because there's about £1,000 difference in what I won it for and their reserve. So we are quite far away, and these insurance companies, they know, they've done it plenty of times now, and I can't see me letting me having that one. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and I'll let you know tomorrow. But we've definitely won 1. We've got to pick that up on Thursday. I could have picked it up today, I've got to be honest, at Copart, but I thought at Rochford. But I thought, nah, because of the fire, what happened at the weekend with the fire, just let everyone let them get themselves back together, give it a couple of more days, and it should be not as busy, not as chaotic. Do you know what I mean? So, and there's obviously going to be a backlog as well. So get all through that. Leave it until Thursday, and then we'll go over there Thursday and pick it up. So yeah. So guys, that's it. That's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me do this. So far, so good. It is going okay. No problems whatsoever. And I'm just taking my time with it. So, yeah, that's it. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next one.